The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and future. Why, hi there, I'm Ron Zuckett. Happy Friday afternoon to you. Hope your great start, Ron. Hope your lunchtime is going to go well. We got ourselves an old-fashioned doubleheader from Saturday, May 29, 1982. These are both night games, technically night games between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore is within 3 games of the first place Detroit Tigers. The Tigers lost in Oakland today 6-1. So the Orioles, who are 27-16, have a chance to gain a full game and a half. It could be just a game and a half for the Orioles if they sweep tonight. Now, Toronto was the big surprise of 1982, along with the Chicago Cubs, who you watched in yesterday's game. The Blue Jays really weren't supposed to do much of anything, although not as big of a surprise as the Cubs are. They are 4 games out, and if they sweep the Orioles in this doubleheader, they will be within 2.5 of first place, or 3 games of first place, because they are now 4. So buckle up, this should be fun. It's the Blue Jays and the Orioles on this doubleheader Friday from Retro Sports Network. And enough of me. Hi Bobby, how are you? So welcome to Old Memorial Stadium, and this is the best picture I could find from close to the era. I don't know when that replay board went in the right center field. My guess is it's probably after the Colts moved to Indianapolis, but what an odd-shaped baseball stadium. Anywho, it's Mike Flanagan on the hill. Mike is 6-0 on the year with a 3.61 ERA. He is making his 9th start of the season. The 1979 Cy Young Award winner went almost a full 8 days ago, last Friday night, up an exhibition stadium in Toronto to get a 6 win, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 2 and struck out 6. So in his 57 1/3 innings, he's allowed 51 hits, 24 runs, 23 earned, including 5 home runs, 20 walks, and 33 strikeouts. And here is the lineup that he will face. Damaso Garcia, who was hitting 400 last week, is dipped to 382. He's your second baseman. Dane Org is the third baseman. He'll bat second. Barry Bonnell, the left fielder, will hit third. Wade Nordhagen starts the doubleheader as designated hitter. Jesse Barfield is in right. He'll bat fifth. Willie Upshaw, the first baseman, one of the 2 lefties in the lineup against the lefty Flanagan. He'll bat sixth. Buck Martinez will tuck the ear up behind the plate. He's the catcher. He'll bat 7th. Lloyd Mosby, the center fielder, will go 8th, and Alfredo Griffin will bat 9th. At short, Louis Leal is on the mound for when the Blue Jays are in the field. John Lowenstein is your left fielder. He's a 5 and a 2. Al Bumbry, an 8 and a 6 in center. Jim Dwyer, former Red Sox, 4 and a 3 in right field. How you doing, Tribe fan? And I'm doing just fine here. Cal Ripken is a third baseman. Remember that. He started in 82 as a third baseman. He's a 5. Len Cicada is a 3 at short. That's why Cal eventually moved over. Rich Dower is a 3 at second, and I don't know what Terry Crowley is at first, but that's Terry Crowley at first, and Joe Nolan behind the plate. Joe a 2 and a 5, and Mike Flanagan's ready. Dave Gardner is still cold, and we are about to get underway. It's a doubleheader day here on a Friday on Retro Sports Network. And we start with a ground ball to Cicada over to Crowley. I never gave you Garcia's numbers, and the throw got away. And so Garcia's on second. So because I was cheap and cheesy, it didn't do it for you. Coming into that at-bat, Garcia at 380, a homer and 40 and 20 RBI. Hitting 356 in the month of May. So he reaches on a 2-base error. That's not what Earl Weaver wants. when you're about to play 18 innings of baseball. Garth Orr, party on, Garth, at 333 and 17 RBI. 8 doubles and 2 triples. Flanagan delivers. Struck him out. He got him on an 0-2 pitch. And that's the first out of the game. I turned down the in-game audio. It was drowning out, especially the umpire, when the crowd got excited. I would think I'd have figured this stuff out by now. It's Barry Bonnell. Barry at 317, a homer and 16 RBI. Flanagan delivers, and there's a ground ball up the middle. Garcia will hold at third. No, he's going to try and score. Going to run on Bunbury. The throw to Nolan is definitely not in time. And Toronto gets out 1-0. So the single by Bonnell scores Garcia easily, and the Blue Jays are on the board first. Bobby, it's about... Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 25 degrees. Tonight, expect a low of 15 degrees.
And that's the weather here in Burlington, Vermont. Thank you, Alexa.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
I said thank you. So 1-0 Toronto, and here's Nordhagen at 311, no homers and 15 RBI. Flanagan delivers, and there's a fly ball to right. Dwyer back in the corner. He makes the catch. I had to make the stadium this morning. It looks kind of funky. So 2 out for Jesse Barfield, who's struggling. 217, 5 homers and 16 RBI. Not a strikeout. Yeah, it's kind of a strikeout machine. 18 and 106 at bats. So Flanagan, 2 outs here, top the first. Pitch to Barfield. There goes Bonnell, and that goes into center field. Barry's on his way to third on the air by Nolan, and that's 2 errors from Baltimore here in the first inning. And so Bonnell is on third with a 1-0 count, and Earl Weaver is just openly opening a carton of cigarettes in the dugout. Chesterfield unfiltered, I think. My goodness, what a sloppy inning for the Orioles. Nolan just completely, we'll watch it again. It was Dower that was supposed to be in the play, and that ball was never near him. So runner on third, 2 out for Barfield in a 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Lost him. Barfield goes to first, a 3-0 pitch downstairs, and now it's runners in the corners for Willie Upshot. 269, 5 homers and 17 RBI. Pitch from Flanagan up the middle. Mike has it over to Crowley, and the side is retired. It only cost the Orioles a run on the hit and 2 errors, and Earl, his face is as red as those orange jerseys the Orioles wore in the 70s. Here come the Orioles, 1-0 Toronto. No, she doesn't handle thank you well at all, Bobby. Not a bit. So let's tell you about Louis Leo. 4-4 on the year with a 4.79 ERA. This is his 11th start. He's gone the distance 4 times already. Last Sunday in Toronto against these Orioles, he went 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. So 67 2/3 innings, 67 hits, 8 home runs, 44 runs overall, 36 earned. He walked 23 and struck out 28. He did not get a decision in that game, by the way, against Baltimore, which is stunning since he gave up 6 runs. So the lineup for the Birds: Al Bunbury will lead it off. Rich Dower, the second baseman, will bat second. John Lowenstein is the cleanup, will hit third. Ken Singleton, the cleanup hitter, he's your DH. Terry Crowley, the first baseman, will bat fifth. Jim Dwyer, the left fielder, will bat sixth. Joe Nolan will be allowed to bat seventh between tirades from Merle. Cal Ripken will hit eighth. That just shows you how early in his career it is. And Len Sakata will bat ninth. Mike Flanagan threw 19 pitches along the way. Beatles, how are you? Good to have you along. Al Bunbury at 296. 3 homers and 14 RBI. Only stole 10 bases in 82, which is a surprise because Bunbury has good speed. And the pitch from Leal is a batter up the middle. Griffin over to Upshaw for the first out. So Barry Bonnell is a 3 and a 2 in left. Lloyd Mosby a 6 and 3 in center. And Jesse Barfield had a cannon of an arm early, a 5 and 9 in right. Garthorg a 3 at third. Alfredo Griffin a good shortstop, he's a 7. Damaso Garcia a 7 in second. And I didn't check to see what Upshaw is at first. Buck Martinez a 5 and an 8 behind the plate. Here's Dower. Dower needs to improve. He's a 248, 3 homers and 16 RBI. He's grounded into 9 double plays already. Game 44 for Baltimore and Toronto. And Dower slaps that one down to Org. Long throw to Upshaw in a hurry. And Dower beats it out. So the bang-bang play on the grass doesn't work. The weather, by the way, for Game 1, 72 degrees and clear. Wind blowing out from left to right at 9 miles an hour. Here's John Lowenstein, 241, 6 homers, 14 RBI. You look at those real numbers. He 24 real homers and only drove in 66. And he did it in 322 at-bats. Wow. So he's really behind the 8 ball. About 79 points beneath his real-life average. Pitch from Leal. And here's a fly ball to left center. Mosby, 1 out. And 2 out. Ken Singleton hitting 286. The DH is at 4 homers and 21 RBI. How you doing, Robbie? And Al. Al sneaking this one in, boys and girls. Don't tell his people at work. Pitch to Singleton. Here's a little liner. Garcia's got it, and that's the inning. So the Orioles put a runner on and can't do anything with him. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 1, it's the Blue Jays 1, the Orioles nothing. Shh. All right. So here's Mike Flanagan on the mound for the face Buck Martinez, Lloyd Mosby, and Alfredo Griffin. Martinez at 233, a homer and 10 RBI. 1-0 Toronto. Basically on 2 errors by the Orioles in the first. Pitch from Flanagan is a fly ball to left. Lowenstein, long run foul. You can see the seats in this park because you can essentially see most of the outfield. And you could definitely say that it is neither really on the surface either a football park or a baseball park. I wouldn't call it a cookie cutter. I would have said it's just kind of ill-designed for either sport. 1-2 to count to Martinez. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. So 1-2 pitch was guessed wrong at. He looked at strike 3, and that's the second one for Flanagan. Here's Mosby at 252, no homers and 23 RBI. I mean, you're stuck out behind the bullpen in some of those seats. And they would be open, of course, for the playoffs and for the last time in 83 next year. What terrible seats. You're staring right at the first base line if you're in left field. Pitch from Flanagan. Ground ball to Sakata. Over to Crowley, and that's an out. So Flanagan calmed down a bit after that rough first. And that brings up Alfredo Griffin at 290. No homers, 4 triples, and 15 RBI. 2 outs, top the second. Game 1. This is a legit doubleheader. And we'll have the second game right after the first. Hi, Michael. The AL East of the 80s was fun, wasn't it? Flanagan's pitch, and Griffin rips that one into short right through the hole between Dower and Crowley, and that's the second Blue Jay hit. So Flanagan, first 9 batters in a tiny 29 pitches, inning and 2/3, 9 batters, 2 hits. The 1 run is not earned. He walked 1 and struck out 2. Garcia reached on an error and scored to lead off the game. It's the game's lone run. Flanagan's pitch. Ground ball to Crowley. He will flip it to Flanagan covering, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 1.5, it's Toronto 1, Baltimore nothing. Nope. Not a separate admission doubleheader. You just stay right here and we'll bring a game 2. Concession stands won't even, you can even get a beer after the 7th inning of game 1. How's that? Or a soda, for that matter. I got my iced tea. So nope. Normally I would split these out, but I just want to get these. It's a true doubleheader. We're not even splitting these into separate streams. So here's Terry Crowley. Terry at 250, part-time work. Eddie Murray gets game 1 of this doubleheader off. 250, no homers, and 3 RBI. Both games will run as long as they need to. No, in 2019, yes. You know, I wonder if that would be the case if I ever do a modern season. If we do a split, I would do the first game at 1, the second game at 7. Leal delivers to Crowley, and that's a line drive to Org at third for the first out. So 1 out for Jim Dwyer. Jim is at 324, no homers and 6 RBI. 1-0 Toronto. Baltimore's 2 errors in the first really hurt. And Dwyer swings and misses on a 1-2 fastball from the L for strike 3. So the first strikeout from Louie in the books. And here's Joe Nolan. Joe at 256, a homer and 10 RBI. I would imagine we will see Rick Dempsey in game 2. These two teams really did rain out on Friday night, which is why, if you go back and watch the Open, it's me on camera and not the Stazzy Desi recap of the first game of the series. Here's the pitch to Nolan. That's up the middle for a base hit. Nolan rounds first. Mosby picks it up on a hop. And that'll bring up Cal Ripken. Cal, blazing start, 327. 8 homers and 33 RBI, and has no picture. I have no idea what Cal Ripken looks like. How are the Red Sox doing, Michael? They're not doing all that well. These are the standings with the day games played. So the Red Sox are 20-24 and have lost 2 out of their last 10. And now Cleveland doesn't have a winning percentage. It must be a bug within that particular division. The Yankees are in last place. Like I said, this is after the day games from Saturday, the 29th of May, being played. And so the Tigers have lost 5 straight. Toronto's won their last 2. Baltimore can cut the lead to a game and a half if they sweep today. So Nolan on first, 2 out for Cal. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. So Leal lost him, and the Orioles are in business here in the second. 2 on, 2 out for Len Sakata. At 225, 4 homers and 19 RBI. Yeah, the Red Sox should be doing better. The Yankees were not good at 82, but the entire American League East last place, which I believe was Toronto, was still 78 and 84. I mean, there really is not a bad team in the bunch as we just start the second quarter of the season. Pitch to Sakata, ground ball up the middle. Garcia to Griffin, or some combination of that to get the third out. So it's a fielder's choice. I believe it is 6-4. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 2, it is Toronto 1, Baltimore nothing. But Mark, how you doing? And how you doing, DJ John? Mark, when did they start with that separate admission stuff? I never liked it. I don't like the separate admission. Just play them out. It's a long enough night as it is. Garth Org is over for 1. He struck out. Flanagan cruising right along here as we start the third. And that pitch is a ground ball to Sakata on the grass. He's not going to get there. And Org will beat it out. Sakata got a late jump at it. And Cal Ripken just kind of keeps a little smile to himself at third. Org is not a threat to steal. And Bunnell Barry singled his first time up, got the RBI. Lone run of the game, which of course was unearned. He took third because he stole second and took third when Joe Nolan's throw missed Rich Dower by about a mile. Flanagan's pitch, and Bunnell drops one. Nolan throw up to second to Sakata for one to Dower. They don't get him, but the sack fails, and it goes in the book as a fielder's choice. 2-6. So 1 out, Bunnell on first. Nordhagen the batter. Wayne is 0 for 1. Throw to first, Bunnell back. 1-0 Blue Jays. Doubleheader. 3 hits for Toronto, 2 for Baltimore. Pitch to Nordhagen up the middle. Sakata to Dower for 1 over to Crowley. Got him. They're turning. Call it 2. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 2.5, it's the Blue Jays 1, the Orioles nothing. That's right, Beatles. So many Red Sox fans here. Don't you forget it. No, that's not a bad habit at all. The Sox started the whole separate admission thing a while ago. And for Fenway, that made sense because it was so small admission. Well, Beatles, you're in good company because American League people are just fine. I think that's how it started, Michael. It'll be Bunbury, Dower, and Lowenstein for the Orioles here in the third. Through 9 batters, Louis Leal is allowed 2 hits over 2 innings. He has walked 1 and struck out 1. Bunbury is 0 for 1. And so I believe Boston, Oakland, and maybe Tampa, I think Tampa obviously wouldn't need it. Started with that because crowds were so small and they didn't want to lose it. Baseball Demo saw his first Major League game here at Baltimore at Memorial Stadium. And so did your dad sneak you a Falstaff, a Schaefer, or a Natty Bow in the process? Pitch to Bunbury is a ground ball right back to Leal, over to Upshaw for the out, 1 out. There's Dower. Dower is one of the 2 hits. He singled his first time up. Pitch to from Leal. It's a ground ball on the grass. Griffin in front of the bag a second. Long throw to Upshaw. And Dower is out. So 2 quick out here for Leal in the third. And then I'll bring up John Lowenstein. He's 0 for 1. D. Scott Howard in the house, showing his National League forte. And of course, Beatles, a big Pirate fan. We had the Pirates on a couple days ago. You weren't here. In fact, this is the first American League game of the week. And we're doing the natural doubleheader. Pitch to Lowenstein. Ground ball to Orr. Long throw to Upshaw. And Leal cruises through the third unscathed. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 3, it is Toronto 1, Baltimore nothing. Baseball Demos, you just chat with us. Say hi. You'll never know who's there. That's what you do with Discord. Wow, Michael Dabrowski's first World Series game was the Orioles and the Phillies. Game 5 of the '83 World Series. Saw a clincher. Well, you can't do anything better than that, Michael. Let's go to a clincher. He's playing a whole bunch of... Playing the 48 Red Sox. What are you doing? You just can't top that. A World Series clincher. Here's Jesse Barfield, Upshaw, and Buck Martinez to follow here in the 4th. Jesse walked his first time up. Pitch from Flanagan, and there's a fly ball to shallow left, or deep to left field, and it's gone. So Barfield homers, and it's 2-0 Toronto. Caught me by surprise. Let's watch it again. Barfield got all of that one, and Lowenstein just didn't move. I thought that was coming in, and nope. Wind blowing in from left center, too, at 10 miles an hour. So Barfield got all of that one. It's his 6th of the year. That was certainly more than 316 feet. And it's 2-0 Blue Jays. So this Battle of the Birds belongs to Toronto right now. And here's Willie Upshaw. He's 0 for 1. Flanagan delivers. Fly ball right center field. Dwyer has it for the first out. Yes, but Beatles, you're not that old. And Michael Dobreski talked about the Philly fans of Owen Schmidt. And D. Scott Howard giving instructions. There's Buck Martinez. He's 0 for 1. He struck out. One of the two by Flanagan. Here's the pitch. Line drive right to Ripken, who hauls it in. He had to leap to get there, and he flips it over to Flanagan, and Len Sakata's shoulders slump just a little bit more. Here's Lloyd Mosby, 0 for 1. Most doubleheaders by one team were the White Sox. They played in 44 in 1938. Holy moly. So Michael Dobreski doing a 48 season replay and 86 Red Sox season replay. Results and box scores on your blog at www.thepeskypole.net. And I can't wait to see what they do when Bryce Harper strikes out with runners in scoring position in Philadelphia with all that money. Pitch to Mosby. Here's a fly ball to center. Bumbry's got it. And that retires aside. But Jesse Barfield slam into left center field gives the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Trying to channel my inner Earl Weaver. Never smoked a cigarette in my life, and I can't perm my hair. Ken Singleton is 0 for 1. Crowley and Dwyer to follow. Here's the pitch to Singleton. Popped up left side. Org. 1 out. I was supposed to have Michael on my show last year. We'll get to that. We'll figure it out. Michael's, I believe, also a podcast host, too. Crowley's 0 for 1. Terry only a part-time player. I imagine we'll see Eddie Murray in game 2. Pitch to Terry. Ground ball to Garcia. Over to Upshaw. That's an out. But he can't play for the famous 3-run homer. Oh, you bet. You bet. And no, Robbie, I'm not singing. I really can't sing. You've heard it. Jim Dwyer struck out his first time up. The only strikeout by Leal so far. 2 out. Bottom of the 4th. 2-0 Toronto. Fly ball to center. Left center. Mosby moves over to make the catch. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 4, it is Toronto 2, Baltimore nothing. No, that was not a rug. That was just a very bad perm. And Beatles is right about the MLB opener. The only opener should be for your bottle of nice beer or on opening day. Not a one-inning pitcher to get you through to the 2nd inning. It'll be Alfredo Griffin, Damaso Garcia, and Garth Ork for the Blue Jays here in the 5th. Alfredo 1 for 1. He singled his first time up. Yeah, Tim Stoddard's the closer for this team. In fact, the computer thinks that Jim Palmer is the closer. But he starts too much. Tim Stoddard is the closer if the Orioles get in that situation. Pitch to Griffin is a ground ball to Crowley that ate him right up. Like a bowl of clam chowder, he hit off the chest and bounced into right field. So Griffin's on first. That's the 3rd Baltimore error. And Earl Weaver is reaching for those Chester fields again. Here's Garcia. He is 0 for 2. He reached on an error to start the game and scored. So Flanagan threw 18 batters, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, That on the Barfield homer in the 4th. A walk, 63 pitches, and 2 strikeouts. The computer's using Stoddard. Pitch from Flanagan. Ground ball to Ripken. Over to Dower for 1. They go around the horn to Crowley. And Garcia beat it out. So they get the force at second, 5-4. And Garcia reaches on the fielder's choice for Garth Orr. Garth is 1 for 2. He singled and struck out. And yep, Eddie Murray would have gotten that one in game 2. And I think the Phillies, all things considered, got a bargain on Bryce Harper for what they ended up paying. I think it's a silly contract, but I think the Phillies did really well. I've got a video up from yesterday that kind of explains all that. 1 out for Orr. Fly ball to center field. Bumbry's got it. Garcia goes back to first, 2 out. Fennell is at the plate. Buries 1 of the 4 hits for the Blue Jays. 1 for 2. Drove in the run in the first on the single, and he stole a base and took third when Joe Nolan threw. Found the outfield grass. Pitch from Flanagan, struck him out. He swung on and missed an 0-2 pitch, and that's the side. Nothing across, halfway home in game 1. Toronto 2, Baltimore nothing. And yeah, I agree, Anthony. Trout's worth that kind of money. Betts is going to get a farm too. And Moneyball never worked, Robbie. The A's never won the World Series. And when you had free agency at 26, I mean, you can look at Machado too and say that's a problem, but you're buying free agency. The Padres and Phillies are getting the prime years for these players. They came in so young. I mean, you know, what do you expect them to pay? But John Lester has a higher annual average value of contract than Bryce Harper. Think about that for a moment. Joe Nolan, Cal Ripken, and Lenny Cicada here in the bottom of the 5th. Nolan singled his first time up. He's 1 for 1. Pitch from Leal, and there's another base hit in the left center. Nolan will round first and hold. And now bring up Cal, who walked his first time up. So the Orioles have the tying run at the plate here in the 5th. All right, take care, David. Pitch to Ripken. Struck him out. An 0-2 pitch and the curveball for strike 3. That brings up Lenny Cicada. Lenny 0 for 1. And could bunt here. And will bunt here. Earl Weaver's lost his mind. Martinez fires to Garcia, and the sacrifice worked. Cicada can't really hit anyway. He's only hitting 223. So 2 out and no one in scoring position as you all head for the fading couch on that bunt. Leal threw 18 batters, 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, a walk and 2 strikeouts. And Bumbry's 0 for 2. Nolan on second, 2-0 Toronto. Bottom of the 5th, Bumbry, ground ball to Upshaw, who lets it roll foul. And the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Leal has struck out 2. And that's right back to Louie. Over to Upshaw, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 5 done in game 1. Toronto 2, Baltimore nothing. Nordhagen, Barfield, and Upshaw coming up. It only works if you win a championship. That's why we play these games. And you know, Kansas City is the perfect story there, Beatles, about being the small market team that could. Detroit just spent silly money for years to get a championship before the old Dan Illitz died, and they never found the bullpen. They would have won a World Series if they had a pen. You gotta build a bullpen in modern baseball for sure. Nordhagen's 0 for 2. He got it into a double play. Ground ball to Flanagan. Over to Crowley. 1 out. There's Jesse Barfield. Barfield homered his last time up in the left center in the 4th to make it 2-0. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Toronto. They've stranded 4. No runs, 3 hits, and 3 errors for Baltimore, and they've stranded 4. 1 out, Barfield, fly ball to left, or popped up rather, left side, Ripken, 2 out. Yeah, but the Yankees won the World Series with A-Rod. Well, you know, I mean, Beatles about being a specialist sport. We have all this data that tells you what it takes to win, and people who we get on sports in general for not innovating, and baseball is for better or for worse has the data and tries to innovate, and then we slam it. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. I mean, I don't like the whole opener thing either, but I get the whole starter goes 6th and build a bullpen to go 7, 8, 9. I mean, you're supposed to win games. That's what this is all about. Upshaw's 0 for 2. Strikeout. He swung on and missed on a 2-2 pitch. So Flanagan gets the strikeout. Nothing across in the top of the 6th. 5.5 in the books. Toronto still up 2-0 in game 1. Well, you know, but that's what happens. Mariano Rivera was a no-brainer Hall of Famer. The whole point is to win. I mean, that's why we have all these older seasons in these channels. If you rather enjoy that sort of baseball, you know, that's what this is all about. You know, going back to another day and age. But I can't blame teams for doing what they're doing now. I mean, the object of the game is to win. So Dower is 1 for 2 in a single. It'll be Lowenstein and Singleton to follow. Liel's pitch, fly ball to left, but now 1 out. 65. You know, when we get to game 2, it's actually going to warm up again. But right now the wind is howling in from center at 10. John Lowenstein is 0 for 2. And he strikes out. Liel got him on an 0-2 pitch on the inside corner. And then they'll bring in Kenny Singleton, who's 0 for 2. But Beatles, that's anything for all entertainment. You go to a movie, you pay for the popcorn. You know, even if you go by yourself, it's $20. You pay for any music, that's $15 to $20 if you're still buying an album. Before the record store closed downtown, you were paying $20, $25 for a piece of vinyl. I mean, entertainment is entertainment, and it's all big business. Pitch to Singleton. There's a fly ball to left. But now, right there to retire the side. So Liel is cruising right along. After 6, it's Toronto 2, Baltimore nothing. Flanagan showing the fatigue warning after 86 pitches. Martinez, Mosby, and Griffin as we start the 7th. Flanagan's pitched a good ball game. He's just been on the wrong side of one pitch to Barfield and a whole bunch of sloppy defense. Pitch to Buck, ball 4. And, you know, that doesn't help Flanagan's cause right there. So here's Mosby. Lloyd is 0 for 2. Pitch from Flanagan. Fly ball to right. Back goes Dwyer. He makes the catch. Martinez goes back to first. 1 out. Alfredo Griffin at 293, 1 for 2. He is singled. So Flanagan's pitched, like I said, a good ball game. This is batter 27 for him. I think a lot of people do, Beatles. You know, that's, you know, your point is valid, but your point is valid. I'm not going to argue it. Pitch to Griffin. There goes Martinez. It's a hit and a run, And the throw down to Dowler's not in time. Well. Buck Martinez steals second. And Earl Weaver is down. And now he's just opening up the Chesterfields and just eating the stuff. My goodness. Pitch to Griffin. And there's a base hit into right field. Martinez will round third and score. Griffin's going for 3. And he's got it. He just kind of roped one down there, and it got past Dwyer and right by the bullpens in the alley. And Griffin, who's got good speed, just kept running, and it's 3-0 Toronto. How about that? Pitch from Flanagan to Garcia, and that's a base hit. That's going to do it for Flanagan. Griffin will score, and the Blue Jays are up 4-0. And Beatles, your other point being that you can get your entertainment from anywhere. You look at this community of channels which streams older sports. I mean, there's a lot of different places to get your entertainment. And a lot of it's substantially cheaper than the movie theater. All right, nobody pitched yesterday. So we got righty. You can get out righty, and it's going to be Tippy Martinez. How about that? Who hasn't pitched in a week? We got a pitching change. This game is coming to you from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. And the computer hasn't used Tippy all that much. He's 1-0 with 1 save with an ERA of 2.03. This is his 13th relief appearance. In 13 1/3 innings, he's allowed 8 hits and 2 home runs. His last appearance was last Sunday against Toronto, as a matter of fact, up in Toronto. Went an inning and a third, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He has walked 4 and struck out 12. And Combat Painter, how are you doing, my friend? 17 steals for Garcia. Throw over, Ron. Okay. And they got him. They picked him off. How about that? Martinez, the lefty, just kind of sidestepped his way over to Crowley. And they got him. That's a second out. Oh, so 4-0 Toronto. 2 outs, top the 7th in game 1. Ward is 1 for 3 with a strikeout. And a single. Ground ball right to Tippy. Back to Crowley. And that retires the side. So Martinez gets 2 outs on 4 pitches. We go. It's stretch time here. 2 more for Toronto. 2 hits, no errors. Toronto 4, Baltimore nothing. Taking the stretch and taking a drink. So Crowley, Dwyer, and Nolan. Leal has allowed 3 hits through 6. Crowley's 0 for 2, and there's a base hit in the right center. Is that extra bases? No. Crowley, who has the speed of me, is at first, and here's Jim Dwyer. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Those runs were big for Toronto, and like I said, if they sweep, they've already taken half a game off Detroit's margin today. A sweep gives them a full game in addition, and they would be 2.5 back. In fact, if they sweep, they pass Baltimore and go back into second place. Pitch to Dwyer. Line drive into center field. Mosby's got it. 1 out. Back to the task at hand. Here's Joe Nolan. Joe is 2 for 2. He is singled twice. Here's the pitch, and there's a little liner in the left. Bunnell is there. He's got it. And here's Cal Ripken. He's 0 for 1. He has walked and struck out. Pitch to Cal. Struck him out. He got him on the inside corner. Louis Leal has 4-hit shutout ball for Toronto through 7 innings. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Toronto 4, Baltimore nothing. You know, the funny thing is, going back to the money, those of us who work around in sports don't even come close to that. I did I did 18 months at Fansided covering the Washington Nationals, and the most I ever made in a month was $200. Thing about that, the payroll for the Nats that year was close to $200 million. I made $200 and worked 25 to 30 hours a week. Bunnell, Nordhagen, and Barfield to face Tippy here in the 8th. Bunnell is 1 for 3. Singled, stole a base. Sakata over to Crowley, 1 out. Wade Nordhagen, 0 for 3, grounded into a double play. And there's a little looper that's going to get through the middle of the infield. Dower and Martinez got the glove up and couldn't quite stop it. And so Nordhagen's on with a 1-out single. 7th hit for Toronto. And now bring up Jesse Barfield, who homered in the 4th. Pitch from Tippy. Fly ball left center. Bumbridge. So that. Yeah, I'm with Al. It's not my money. I'm paying for it anyway. I mean, if you have cable or pay for the internet, you are paying for all sorts of stuff you don't watch. It doesn't bother me how much, entertainers and singers make. I just got, billed again for my first month of MLB TV. It's the same price as it's been for the last, 5 years? So that hasn't gone up. I'm just going to enjoy it. Upshaw's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Here's the pitch. Got him! Make it 2 strikeouts as he chases, swung on and missed, and so Martinez gets through the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 7.5, Toronto 4. Baltimore nothing. You'll never see a cap in baseball. You'll see the text, you might even see it given some teeth, but you'll never see a cap. Because if you gotta have the cap, you gotta have a floor, and the owners don't want the floor. It'll be Sakata, Bumbry, and Dower here in the bottom of the 8th. 0 for 1. And Sakata hits a ground ball. Garcia on the grass in front of the bag in second, over to Upshaw for the out. And Al Bumbry's 0 for 3. Louis Leal, by the way, lost in this conversation, has thrown a gem through 27 batters, 7 1/3 innings, 4 hits. He has walked 1 and struck out 4 on 85 pitches. He is in good shape to go the route for Toronto. This would be his 5th complete game of the year to open up the doubleheader. Pitch to Bumbry. There's a little liner in the right. Going to drop in front of Barfield, and Bumbry's on with a single. So Rich Dower is 1 for 3 with the single. Leal, only at 88 pitches, he's done yeoman's work for the Blue Jays. Pitch. Ground ball to first. Upshaw. Over to Griffin for 1. Back to Leal, the pitcher covering. Call it 2. Unbelievable double play. And so the Orioles are on the verge of getting shut out. No runs a hit, no errors. After 8 in game 1, Toronto 4, Baltimore nothing. They do, but basketball's Beatles is a misnomer. There are enough holes and exceptions in that, and football's contracts aren't guaranteed, which is how they get around the cap. No team has no league has a hard cap. I agree that attendance is down because the tickets are too high. Well, it's still a $10 billion a year sport. Martinez, Mosby, and Griffin as we go to the 9th. There's minor league teams that would love to have you involved, too, and college teams. I mean, there's plenty of baseball to go around, but I think the big one that's going to fall in the next generation is the National Football League. I think they've just grown too big. Martinez laces this one into left center as we go back to the action. And the Blue Jays start the 9th with a base hit. Here's Lloyd Mosby. He's 0 for 3. Martinez on first. If Tippy Martinez can finish this one off, Weaver would appreciate that. So he doesn't have to worry about burning up his bullpen in game 1. Mosby strikes out. He's checked his swing on a 1-2 pitch, and the umpire says go sit down. So 1 out for Alfredo Griffin, who single, tripled, and drove in a big run in the 7th. Scored himself. Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball right to Martinez. To Dower for 1. To Crowley. I don't think they turned it. No, they didn't. But they got the lead runner, and Griffin is on the fielder's choice, 1-4. Tomaso Garcia. Average is down to 379. 1 for 4. He's got an RBI single. Has a run scored, too. Ground ball to Cicada. Over to Crowley, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 8.5, Toronto looking pretty good here in game 1. 4-0. And Michael brings up the point that, technology's there. We have 32-inch screens at a minimum at home. You bring your own food. You watch on your own schedule. You can watch any game whatsoever if you're willing to pay for it. Like I said, my MLB TV just renewed for the same price for the 5th straight year. I think I'm going to watch a lot of National League East games this year. And why would you ever leave home? You can watch on mute or put on the radio thing. I mean, there's just so many options. All right, Al, good to have you. Beatles, that's all sports. That's not just baseball. Lowenstein, anyway, back to the task here. Earl Weaver wants to know why you're not paying attention to this. He's going to get thrown out of the second game. Lowenstein, Singleton, and Crowley, maybe. Leal working on the shutout here. Lowenstein's 0 for 3. Base hit into deep center field. Lowenstein's going for 2, and the Orioles start the 9th with a double. But Robbie, games are going on too long. There's no pace to it. One of the best games I ever watched from start to finish was Game 6 of the 11 World Series. That's 2011 Beatles. That was the game that Texas was down to their last strike to win the World Series, and the Cardinals came back twice. I mean, that game was so intense that my wife came in and watched the last couple innings. She watched David Freese walk that off, and it didn't matter that game was 5.5 hours to play. But I'll go back to the fan side of things. I sat through some games with the Nats that were boring as hell, that took over 3 hours to play, and you look at the box score the next morning, it was like a 4-2 game. That's what's killing baseball. You got to move it along, kind of like this stream. Singleton's 0 for 3. There's a base hit into right. Barfield cuts it off. And now you talk about a 3-run homer. Terry Crowley will get pinch hit for. And here comes Eddie Murray at 369, 9 homers and 31 RBI. If you look at the stats on the left-hand side there, he's got a 5.5% chance of giving Earl Weaver his dream of a 3-run shot. So Leal starting to tire. 4-0 Toronto. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th. Pitch to Murray. Ball 4. And so the tying run now is Jimmy Dwyer. And so the bases are loaded. Nobody out. Dwyer is 0 for 3. And yep, he hit 6 homers in real life. So a granny ties the game. And you got to wonder what Jimmy Williams is thinking in the Toronto bullpen or dugout. Martinez goes out to chat with Leal. Pitch to Dwyer. Ground ball to Garcia. To Griffin for 1. And I assume they went to Upshaw. No, there's no throw to first, so they only got one. And so it's 4-1. The shutout is broken. Joe Nolan, who had 6 homers and 219 at-bats, is going to stay in the game. He is now the tying run at the plate. Lee Allen, 104 pitches. Here we go. There's a ground ball to Garcia. Singleton's going to try and score. Toronto's going to go for 2. Griffin for 1. Upshaw for 2, I assume. Yep, they turn it. And that's game 1 in the books. Toronto 4. And Baltimore 1. You can't... Oh, man, that was one of the best games I've ever seen. And it's underrated. But again, ID, we'll get to the box score here in a second. I mean, that's what makes baseball timeless, is that you don't realize how long it's taking to do that. So we're doing 2, don't forget. This is only game 1. So Louis Leal gets the win. He goes to 5-4 on the year. Complete game, 7-hitter, walked 2 and struck out 4. Mike Flanagan, 6 in the 3rd innings, a good baseball. It was the Orioles defense that doomed him. He takes a loss, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned with a homer. That was to Barfield. Walked 2 and struck out 4. And Tippy Martinez finished it up. 2 2/3 innings, 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. All right, you can look at minor league bug for a minute. As we get set for game 2, I'll read quickly the scores from the daytime portion of Saturday, May 29th. Cubs beat the Dodgers. If you didn't catch that, go watch it. 4-3. Montreal shut out Cincinnati 8-0. Steve Rogers with a 2-hitter. Cleveland shut out the White Sox 3-0. Rich Sutcliffe threw a 1-hitter. Dick Ruthven threw a 1-hitter for Philadelphia as they shut out Atlanta 2-0. Minnesota 12, the Yankees 6. Billy Hatcher at 5 RBI for Minnesota. Milwaukee beat California 6-1. Cecil Cooper with 3 hits. You'll see a lot of California coming up. The cat's thinking I'm looking right at her. She could care less about the California Angels. Oakland beat Detroit 5-1. And so Monday, Memorial Day, we'll have a Monday night special, Detroit and California. And then they'll play Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday night's game is going to be Chicago and Kansas City. And then that's the primetime game on Wednesday. And Thursday, I forgot who I picked. But coming up, game 2 of this twin bill. Jim Clancy and Scott McGregor. And now you're going to get a rare game here. As I flip back. Oh, Louis Leal threw the... Louis 3L threw against the perfect inning against Lenny Barker. And I agree with that, Robbie. It was about 2.5 hours when I was a kid, guys. The average game, 240, I think, would be about right. So Toronto and Baltimore are now tied at 27-17 with that win. Now look at the Oriole lineup on the right. And I'll sign up for... ID, you got my email. Sign me up for your team. Look who's not playing for Baltimore. I wonder if that's the last time that a certain name is not in the lineup for Baltimore. Think about that. All right, so Scott McGregor on the hill for game 2. He's 5-2 on the year with a 4.44 ERA. This is start number 12 for Scott. He threw a complete game last time out 5 nights ago, or 5 days ago in Toronto. He threw a 5-hitter, as a matter of fact, as he earned his 5th win of the year. He allowed a run and a strikeout over 9. Imagine that, 1 strikeout over 9 innings. So he's won his last 3 starts. He beat Seattle on May 15th in 7 innings. He allowed 2 runs and 11 hits to the Twins on the 20th of May to pick up win number 4, and he gets the nightcap here against Toronto as he goes for his 4th straight win. So the lineup for Toronto in Game 2, it's Damaso Garcia leading off and playing second. Garth Orange will stay and play third in Game 2. Otto Velez is your DH. He will hit third. Barry Bonnell moves to center in Game 2. He'll clean up. Jesse Barfield is in right. I guess they didn't have George Bell in 1982, at least not for this. Barfield will bat fifth and play right. Cliff Johnson, I believe, is your left fielder. God help us everyone if that's the case. He'll hit 6th. Dave Revering plays first and will bat 7th. Ernie Witt is your catcher. He'll bat 8th, and Alfredo Griffin will bat 9th. Jim Clancy is on the hill for Toronto. Now, John Lowenstein remains in the game and remains in Game 2 and left. He's a 5 and a 2. Al Bumbry, the center fielder, again 8 and a 6. Disco Dan Ford, 8 and a 7 in right. Floyd Rayford is at third. He's a 3. Barry Bonner is a shortstop. He's a 3. Rich Dower is a 3 at second. Jim Dwyer is a 1 at first. And Rick Dempsey's catching Game 2. He's a 4 and a 6. So Garcia, the slide rules have been used. He's a 377, a homer, and 21. RBI. Well, no, Bonner's playing short. But, yeah, no Cal Ripken. There is no Cal. I wonder if he missed a game after this for a while. Wow. They've got the weather thing fixed. It's 49 degrees as we begin Game 2. And the wind is blowing in from center. Hey, no problem, Beats. And thanks for coming along and for the great conversation. I really did enjoy it. Don't think I got angry with anything that you said. Thanks for the wonderful conversation. And so McGregor is ready, Damaso Garcia is ready, and we get ready to start Game 2. McGregor delivers, and there's a base hit right up the middle. Dower couldn't do anything with it. And Garcia's on to start Game 2. For Garth Ord was at 330, no homers and 17 RBI. Go to first, Garcia back. The one thing I like about pitching clocks, Robbie, is that it forces pitchers to get back into a rhythm. And I think 90% of the pace problems, it's not a length problem, it's a pace of play. When we did Dungeons and Dragons and all kind of stood around there and couldn't figure out what the hell to do, that's a pace problem. You can do a lot in a 2.5 hour period. But if there's no action, then people aren't going to pay attention. Kind of like this game. Pitch to Ord is a liner into right that goes all the way to the wall. Ford gets it on a hop, and Ord is on with a double. McGregor, before the fans bring back their fresh natty bows to the seats, have 2 on and nobody out for Otto Velez. Otto at 171 with no homers and 4 RBI. Pitch from McGregor. Fly ball to right. Ford in the corner. He's got it. Garcia will score without a throw, or goes to third. And again, it is 1-0 Toronto early. And that's the problem with baseball. I don't care that the game takes 4 hours. How many of you watch golf? Bonnell at 314, a homer and 17 RBI. Pitch from McGregor, and that's going to go into right center field. So Ord will score, and it's 2-0 Toronto here in the first. So the Blue Jays, this is why Toronto is, with a win here, will have second by themselves. So Barfield at 220, 6 homers. He hit his 6th in game 1 in the 4th. McGregor delivers, and that's going into right center field. Bonnell goes to third. Barfield's at second. They're going to run on Bumbry. Here comes the throw. A one-hopper to Dempsey, and they got him! They got him! Dower cut it off for the relay and threw a strike to Dempsey, and they got the out at the plate. And so Bunbury and Dower tip their hats to each other. McGregor kind of smiles, and there's 2 out. Watch it again. Barfield, certainly Bonnell should have scored. Bunbury was way back on the wall, and Dower just threw a direct strike to Dempsey, and that was that. So 2 out. Barfield on second for Tony Johnson. Okay, don't remember him. 3 for 12 on the year. The real number is 235, 3 homers and 14 RBI. McGregor 1 out away from getting out of this. Fly ball to shallow left. Lowenstein is there, and that retires the side. 2 runs. 4 hits and no errors. After half an inning, Toronto 2, Baltimore coming up May 30th. So yeah, this was the last game missed by Cal Ripken for the rest of the century. So the streak starts tomorrow, Mark Forsberg. How about that? And so I didn't mean to do this. I just saw that I hadn't done the Orioles. I'll get it on camera to tell you this. The cat thinks I'm looking right at her. Realize that here we are a quarter of the way through the season. The Orioles haven't been on yet. I've done Milwaukee, I've done Detroit, and I hadn't done Baltimore. Well, here we are. Here's a doubleheader against the surprising Toronto Blue Jays, and just out of the blue, as Mark Forsberg says, this is the last time for the rest of the 20th century that Cal Ripken did not play in a game. How cool is that? All right, back to the action. After a drink. So Jim Clancy is 6-4 on the year, with a 3.16 ERA, 79 2/3 innings, 67 hits. This is his 12th start. He is looking for his 6th complete game. He didn't get it the last time he pitched against the Orioles in his last start. On May 24th, 5 1/3 innings up in Toronto, 9 hits, 5 runs all earned. He walked 6 and struck out 1 in the loss. So he's allowed 34 runs, 28 earned. He has walked 29 and struck out 40. So here is the last lineup of the 20th century for the Orioles that doesn't contain the name Cal Ripken. Al Bunbury leads it off. Rich Dower will bat second. Jim Dwyer will hit third. Ken Singleton, the DH, he cleans up. John Lowenstein, the left fielder, bats fifth. Disco Dan Ford will hit sixth and right. Rick Dempsey, the catcher, will bat seventh. Floyd Rayford, the third baseman, bats eighth. And Barry Bonner, the shortstop, will bat ninth. Defensively for Toronto, Tony Johnson is a 3-4 in left. Bonnell is a 3-2 in center. That's pretty bad. And Jesse Barfield a 5-9 in right. The rest of the infield doesn't change, except for Revering, which I can't see. And Witt is a 5-5. So Bunbury, after game 1, 295, 3 homers and 14 RBI. Yeah, because they're as-played lineup. So if he started, yeah. So the computer will do that because I'm doing as-played. So yeah. So that's it. This is the last time in the 20th century that the Baltimore Orioles did not start Cal Ripken. Pitch to Bunbury. Ground ball to Orb. Over to Revering, who's a 3, and there's 1 out. So Clancy, if he can pitch better, can pitch the Blue Jays in the second place. And it's cold, 49 degrees. It's 29th of May. Dower at 248, 3 homers and 16 RBI. Pitch. Fly ball to center. Bonnell has it. 2 out. Don't forget tonight, folks, Dave Little's channel. It's his 1970-71 NBA replay, and it'll be Detroit and Boston tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central on his channel, right here on YouTube. Jim Dwyer, who's playing first, 289 with 7 RBI. Yep, he had to start all the games, and it's not what an amazing feat. And You know, Mark, I wish I was clever enough to say I planned that. Good for you. You are today's Miller Lite MVP. Pitch to Dwyer, ground ball to third, or better hurry over to Revering to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After one, it is Toronto 2, Baltimore nothing. So don't forget the time Monday night at 7 for the special Memorial Day game between the Tigers and the Angels from Anaheim. And then they will play Tuesday afternoon. So we're doing 1 from Monday, 2 from Wednesday, and the Saturday game. I don't know who at Major League Baseball was pissed at NBC that particular weekend, that first weekend of June, but their choices were terrible. With San Francisco at Chicago and Oakland and Milwaukee, and we took San Francisco and Chicago. Revering, Dave Revering, nice picture there, 229, a homer and 5 RBI. You know, I knew that he had missed a game, that the streak started somewhere around here, but I guess it was a subconscious thing. It honestly, honest to God idea, it was not planned. Pitch to Revering, there's a little liner to Dwyer for the out, and there's 1 out for Ernie Witt. Ernie at 267, 3 homers and 17 RBI. Here's the pitch. Fly ball to center. Bumbry comes in. 2 out. So here's Alfredo Griffin, 296. He had a very good game 1. No homers and 16 RBI. But thanks for giving me the credit for that. It must have been a subconscious thing. It really was that I just hadn't done any Baltimore games yet. And you figure one of the star attractions of the year was the Orioles, and you better get them in at some point. It's the end of May. Realize that this is the last of, we've done 8 weeks of this replay. Pitch to Griffin, ground ball to Rayford, over to Dwyer, and that retires the side. So McGregor gets a much easier second. No runs, no hits, and no errors. 1.5 in the books. Game 2 of this doubleheader. Toronto 2, Baltimore nothing. Well, thanks for the kind words, Robbie, but honest to God, no. not in this case. Ken Singleton, 285, 4 homers, and 21 RBI. Lowenstein and Dan Ford to follow. Jim Clancy would like about 8 more innings of what you saw in the first. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to Griffin, almost on the grass. Long throw to Revering, and Singleton, I think, is going to beat that out. He does, as the throw was low, and Revering blocked it. But Griffin just kind of had to make that throw on the run, and it was kind of off target. Revering couldn't keep his foot on the base, and so it goes as an E6. And now we'll bring up Lowenstein. Here's the good friend. Tonight is kind of special. The beer will pour, let it be Lowenstein or Stein. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. All right, 242, 6 homers and 14 RBI. That takes care of the singing portion of the program. The bathing suit portion will not be seen in order to protect public decency. Pitch from Clancy. Lowenstein lines that one into right field for a base hit. So Singleton's there. Will hold at second. Runners on first and second for Dan Ford. And so the Disco Man at 268, 3 homers and 23 RBI. He did not play in Game 1. And man, he struck out 23 times. No, bull. That's bull, Bobby. 23 times already. And he's got a 20.2% chance of striking out here. Clancy delivers. Base hit center field. Singleton will round third and hold. And so Earl says don't make the first out on the bases and don't make the last out. And so they are loaded for Rick Dempsey. And you drink a couple of those Lowenbrows. Woohoo! Dempsey at 210. No homers and 7 RBI. If the Orioles are going to make a run here in the East, he's got to wake up. Clancy, nowhere to put him. And Dempsey's walked 22 times in 105 at-bats, which is kind of an oxymoron since you don't get an at-bat for walking. Pitch from Jim. Ground ball to Revering. To Griffin at second for one. Back to Dave. And do they turn it? No! Dempsey beat the relay. And so there's one out and a run scores. So Singleton will score. It's 2-1. And that'll bring up Floyd Rayford, the most unloved man in Baltimore history. The Wally Pipp, if you will, of the Baltimore Orioles. He's 2 for 5 on the year with a homer and 2 RBI. I think he ended up in the outfield for them, if I'm not mistaken. Pitch from Clancy. Popped up, right side, Garcia. 2 out. So the Birds are on the board, at least early on here in game 2. Bobby Bonner. I was calling him Barry. Bobby, that picture, by the way, is on the same rookie card as one Cal Ripken. So Bobby can at least tell his grandchildren that his rookie baseball card is worth a mint, for reasons that have nothing to do with him. Bobby at 240, no homers and 7 RBI. Bobby's been hitting the special juice in Florida a little too early. 2 out. Bonner, ground ball to first. Reverend. You know what? I lost 4 viewers for that. Silas retired. 1 run, 2 hit, and an error after 2. Toronto 2, Baltimore 1. So McGregor starts his second time through the lineup. 29 pitches, 2 innings, 4 hits, no walks or strikeouts, 2 earned runs. Garcia singled and scored in the first to lead off the game. McGregor delivers, and there's a base hit in the left center. So Garcia now is 2 for 2, and that'll bring up Garth Ord, who doubled and scored in the first. 2-1 Toronto. Maybe change up the song. Thanks, Dave. Any requests? McGregor delivers. There goes Garcia. Throw down to Dower, and it's not in time. Dempsey's got a good arm, but Garcia's got speed. That's his 18th. So Ord, as I said, doubled and scored in the second. Toronto with now a runner in scoring position. The count is 0-1 to Ord. Pitch from McGregor. Foul ball, third base side. Someone from Laurel made that catch. And the count is 0-2. Pitch to Ord. There goes Garcia. Throw down to Rayford. They got him. And that was a strikeout. So the 0-2 pitch was swung on and missed. And Earl Weaver sits there with a big smile. Toronto does a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And after, well, there's 2 out. There's 2 out. Otto Velez reached and drove in a run. And a sac fly in the first. So he's still 0 for 0, but he's got his 5th RBI of the year. There's the pitch. Liner to right. Ford is there. And Ron Curley does not have any season change. Lady of Spain. Is that the one with the rain and the rain on the plane is directly into Spain or something like that? Is that from My Fair Lady? Al Bumbry, 0 for 1. We apparently talk about everything during these games. So Clancy threw 9 batters. He's gone through 2 innings, 41 pitches, 2 hits, no runs, walks or strikeouts. He's made contact with everybody. And Bumbry hits this one up the middle. That's a base hit. And so the Orioles are in business here to start the third. 2-1. Here's Dower. Rich is 0 for 1. And he hits this one in the center. Bunnell should have it. He does. 1 out. So 1 out, bottom of the third. Toronto won the opener 4-1. They lead the late night cap 2-1. Jim Dwyer is 0 for 1. Oh, Greg, thank you so much. Dave, I won't tell the boss. Thank God, my friend. And as I said, Dave, by the way, has got that's Little, the one that's not chanting me to sing more. We'll have his game, Detroit and Boston, 70-71 from his mini replay tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central on Dave Little's YouTube channel. Clancy delivers, and there's a fly ball to right. Barfield in the corner. He's got it. And Bunbury scampers back to first. So 2 out. Here's Singleton. He's 0 for 1. No one likes the singing except for you and Bobby. And so Bunbury has been given the green light to try it here. Uh-oh. Strike. He couldn't get a good jump. Thank God, because it was only a 41% chance. And so Earl looks skyward and says, says a novena or 4. Pitch to Singleton. There's a base hit center field. Bunnell cuts it off. Bunbury will hold at second. So 2 on and 2 out for Lowenstein. John singled his first time up. And so Bunbury would score on a base hit. Singleton is not fast. And so Clancy's allowed 4 hits. 2 2/3 innings. 2 out, bottom of the third. 2-1 Toronto. Lowenstein, fly ball, shallow right. Barfield's got it. And that retires the side. The Orioles trying to make some hay and can't. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. After 3, Toronto 2, Baltimore 1. And I agree with Greg on my singing. So it'll be Bunnell, Barfield, and Johnson for Toronto here in the 4th. You would think that, Vin Scully can sing. Probably one of the things from growing up in Irish Catholic background, he didn't have much choice but to learn how to sing. But you would think that broadcasting and singing would be pretty similar. The voice is a little bit exaggerated. And singing pretty much isn't a super exaggeration in your voice, but I can do one, but I can't do the other. And luckily for you, it's the broadcasting. So Bunnell is 1 for 1. He singled and drove in a run in the first. McGregor starts the 4th. Fly ball to right. Ford in the corner. Got it. 1 out. Makes a diving catch in the corner. Up against the wall. And so 1 out for Jesse Barfield. Doubled his first time up. Remember, he had that big home run in the 4th of game 1. McGregor's pitch, low ground ball to Bonner, over to Dwyer, 2 out. But I appreciate all you guys sticking through. Doubleheaders are tough to sit through. Tony Johnson's 0 for 1. Tony's just glad he's got the chance to play. Pitch from McGregor. There's a base hit in the right center. And that throw is into Bauer. And so Johnson, who's got some speed, is on first. 2 out. 6th hit for the Blue Jays. Here's Dave Revering. He's 0 for 1. Throw to first. Johnson's back. I probably shouldn't have done that. If you're new to the replay, I manage the home teams unless the Red Sox are there. That's the only one I will play on the road. But the computer handles the road team. The computer won game 1. Dave Revering is 0 for 1. Pitch Johnson goes, throw down to Bonner, and Johnson stole the base. That's his first of the year. He only had a 36% chance of taking it. And so the base runner has been much more aggressive in this version of Action PC Baseball, and it pays off for Toronto here. So Johnson's in scoring position if Revering can get on. 2-1 Blue Jays, 2 out, top the 4th. McGregor's pitch. Fly ball to right. Ford should have it. He does. And that retires the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 3.5, Blue Jays 2, Baltimore 1. We do have a good time, Robbie. So Dan Ford, Rick Dempsey, and Floyd Radford. And remember, as our buddy Mark Forsberg said, this is the last time in the 20th century that Cal Ripken did not play for the Baltimore Orioles. After this, 2,400 and something straight games. Ford singled his first time up. And Ford draws the walk. So Clancy misses low on a 3-1 pitch. And that'll bring up the struggling Rick Dempsey. He did get an RBI. He's 0 for 1. Reached on a fielder's choice. Clancy delivers, and Dempsey hits this one into left center. That's a base hit. Johnson cuts it off. Ford will hold at second, and Dempsey's on first for Floyd Rayford, who's 0 for 1. So Clancy has scuffled through this one, but he's on the right end of a 2-1 scoreboard. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to Griffin. And makes a terrible play. He was late. He really should have had Dempsey at second. He tried for Rayford instead, and Rayford beat it out. And so that brings up Bobby Bonner, who quickly sent me a note saying that his baseball card is always worth something, and it doesn't matter who else's picture's on it. So Ford is on third. Dempsey on the tying run. Dempsey the go-ahead run on second, and Rayford along for the ride here in the fourth. Clancy's pitch, fly ball to right. Barfield's got it. Ford will tag. Ford will score. The throw goes in the infield. And Bonner at least will have the satisfaction of having driven home a Ford lately. So Clancy threw 18 batters, has thrown 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, he's walked 1. And now the game is tied at 2 on that sac fly. Only one of those runs is earned. And here's Al Bumbry. He's 1 for 2. 2,632 consecutive games, including 6,493 straight innings. Clinton, those jerky ushers wouldn't let me use my Annie Oakley until the second game, and then they put me in the... It's the second game of a doubleheader, Clinton. You got a good seat. 46 degrees, winds howling in from 10 miles an hour. And you're just enjoying in time. 2-2, fourth inning, 1 out for Bumbry, who singled, 1 for 2. Clancy's pitch, ground ball up the middle. Garcia to Griffin for 1, over to Revering, and they turn it. Call it 2, a run on 2 hits and no errors. My luck, this game's going 18. After 4, Toronto 2, Baltimore 2. In fact, as Ernie Wood steps up, he's 0 for 1. 2 runs, 6 hits for both teams. Toronto has the air. Baltimore does not. Pitch to Witt. Fly ball, deep center field. Back goes Bumbry. 1 out. You wouldn't be wrong on that, Robbie. This was in a residential neighborhood. You can see those houses out there behind the fence. It's now a senior center. They've actually done a nice job. It's a community center where Memorial Stadium is. And I think the plaque that was on the front was moved to Camden Yards, or it's where the Ravens play. They say that, but they've done a really nice job not preserving the... there might actually be a field where this field was. And home plate is at Camden Yards, of course. But they took this in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Pitch to Griffin, who's 0 for 1. Ground ball to Bonner, over to Dwyer for the out. So Clinton took his kid here for a doubleheader in '83 to see the Red Sox. Those were always fun games. Never had a problem with the Orioles growing up. I'm assuming, Clinton, that replay board in the right with the Coke and the Bud and the Winston hands there was put up after the Colts abdicated to Indianapolis. Damaso Garcia leads off, or 2 outs here in the 5th. He's 2 for 2. He singled twice, stole a base, and scored. So through 18 batters, McGregor 70 pitches, 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits and a strikeout. Earl Weaver was tossed, and my son became a lifelong Oriole fan. Yeah, that neighborhood, I'm sure, was not in good shape in 1983. McGregor's pitch. There's a base hit. Garcia goes 3 for 3. That got in the hole between Bonner and Rayford. And so a 2-out single for the Blue Jays brings up Garth Ort, who doubled. He's 1 for 2 with the run scored and the strikeout. And of course, Camden Yards, which would come about a decade later in '93, started the whole new ballpark revolution of retro-style ballparks and putting things back into downtowns. It was great. Pitch to Ord. Ground ball to Rayford. Throw across to Dwyer. Bang, bang play, and Ort beat it out. Again, Rayford should have gone to second. You got the better chance there. I mean, Garcia's fast, but again, the Blue Jays now have runners on first and second for Otto Velez, and Otto was 0 for 1 with an RBI. Pitch to Otto, ball 4. So McGregor, with 2 out, has proceeded to load the bases. And so Earl lights up another Chesterfield. And here's Barry Bonnell, who's 1 for 2. He's singled and driven in a run. Pitch from McGregor. There's a base hit in the left. Lowenstein gets it on the hop. Garcia scores. Ort will score. Velez goes into third. And it's now 4-2. Toronto. And Greg says that they put a lot of money in that waterfront. Yeah, both those stadiums. The football stadium is beautiful too. And they've got that grass field turf thing in there now. For that. They're both just gorgeous stadiums. Here's Jesse Barfield. Jesse is 1 for 2 with a double. 4-2 Toronto. Game 2 of this doubleheader. Top of the 5th, 2 out. Stein and McGregor getting bounced around a bit here now. Pitch to Barfield. That's up the middle. Bumbry's got it. He makes the catch on the line drive. Not before the Jays put 2 more on the board. 3 hits and no errors. Halfway home in game 2. It's Toronto 4, Baltimore 2. Dower, Dwyer, and Singleton will face Clancy here. And Jim Clancy kind of gotten the rubber band defense going around for him. 4 innings, 6 hits, but it hasn't broken. Pitch to Dower, ground ball, first base side, Reverend flips it to Clancy, and there's 1 out. So Jimmy Dwyer's 0 for 2. Clancy has walked 1 and hasn't struck out anybody. Dwyer, there you go. 1-2 Uncle Charlie, swung on and missed, and that's the first strikeout. Getting back to that pace of play argument that we're discussion. It wasn't an argument, discussion that we had in game 1. That's the difference. You can go through a game and have very few strikeouts because people are making contact. Ken Singleton scored. He's 1 for 2. 2 out. Struck him out. He swung on and missed on a fastball. No runs, no hits, no errors. We played 5 in Baltimore in game 2. Toronto 4, Baltimore 2. Clinton says this is a how you doing, Terry? Clinton says this is a 1991 picture. Everybody forgets those center field bleachers were temporary. I wondered what year it was. I could not find a usable picture of just the scoreboard and left. So this is at the end of the run at Memorial. Well, they were building Camden Yards. And after, as McGregor gets the fatigue warning, here's Tony Johnson, he's 1 for 2. Pitch. Ground ball to Dwyer. Takes it to the bag himself, 1 out. Of course, after the Orioles left for downtown, the Colts, of course, abdicated in the middle of the night in '84. The CFL Baltimore Stallions, they couldn't call it the Colts, played a year here, and the CFL overexpanded in the mid-'90s. And then, of course, the Ravens played, I believe, 2 years here when they moved from Cleveland. The old Browns before M&T opened up. Here's Dave Revering. Dave is 0 for 2. Scoreboard only. The left. The one on the left for the Toyota. That was, National Bohemian, Budweiser, Coca-Cola. But the replay, I don't know what year the replay board went in. Yeah, scoreboard, yeah, football. So yeah, let me know. Scoreboard only is what I would like. Because that would be more appropriate. Revering is now, hits a home run. Oh my goodness, that was gone the second he hit it off the bat. Bumbry just turned and watched it go. That's his second of the year. Let's watch it again. It's now 5-2 Toronto. Revering just got all of that one, and all anything that Bumbry could do is sit there and go, well hit. So the Blue Jays are up 5-2. And here's Ernie Witt. And on this 45-degree night, Clinton Park seats gets better and better as the regulars kind of leave. Ernie's 0 for 2. I think they'll send out fly ball to center. Bunbury's got it for the second out. So Alfredo Griffin is 0 for 2. And McGregor, he might start the 7th. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to Dwyer. Takes the bag himself, and that retires the side. Now before the Blue Jays get a solo shot from Dave Revering, of all people. And after 5.5, it's Toronto 5, Baltimore 2. So the Blue Jays are 12 outs away from second place. John Lowenstein, Dan Ford, and Rick Dempsey. Lowenstein is 1 for 2. Pitch from Clancy. Up the middle, Bunnell, 1 out. Nice little liner there. Yeah, but that was specifically built for football, and they put a bit in. Well, didn't the Toronto had a Maple Leaf or minor league team? I don't think they played there. This was, I said, I'll explain this in the first game as the cat tries to worm her way up here again. It really, and they played both here. The seats are kind of more for football, but it really wasn't ideal for either sport. Dan Ford is 1 for 1. He has singled, walked, and scored. 5-2 Toronto, 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Clancy delivers, and Ford hits that one up the middle. Garcia by the bag at second, over to Revering for the out. So here's Rick Dempsey. He is 1 for 2. He has singled and driven in a run, but the single did not drive in the run. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Pitch from Clancy. Dempsey, line drive to center. Bunnell is there, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. Clancy through 6. It's Toronto 5, Baltimore 2. So Damaso Garcia, as McGregor has pitched to 27 batters, 94 pitches, 6 innings, 10 hits. 5 runs all earned, a homer, a walk, and a strikeout. The walk belongs to Garcia. He is 3 for 3. He is yet to be retired. No, he did not get a walk, Ron. Stole a base. Watch for that 1 is in that column. Anywho, McGregor delivers. Ground ball to Bonner. They're finally going to get him over to Dwyer for the out. But it wasn't uncommon, even in places that were built before the cookie-cutter run of the 70s, to have football and baseball teams share the same facility. They got this ready in a hurry. There was a Baltimore Orioles minor league team that played here. And then when the St. Louis Browns announced that they were moving to Baltimore, they had to get this place spiffed up in a hurry for Major League Baseball. Garth Org was 2 for 3. He singled, doubled, scored twice, and struck out. McGregor pitch. Ground ball to Dower, over to Dwyer, and that's 2 out net. Just occurred to me that the Baltimore took both teams named the Browns. St. Louis in baseball in 1954 or 5 when they moved east to Baltimore. And of course, the football team from Cleveland. I'd never thought of that until just now. I was 47 years old when I realized that. Otto Velez is 0 for 1. He's walked and driven in a run. 5-2, 2 out, top of the 7th. Toronto leading. Pitch to Velez. There's a liner to Bonner for the out. And so McGregor does yeoman's work here in the 7th. Nothing across. 6.5 in the books. Time to stretch it again. Yep, the Ashtrays. 5-2 Toronto. It'll be Rayford, Bonner, and Bunbury against Clancy here in the bottom of the 7th. Floyd is 1 for 2. Clancy's pitch, ball 4. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Baltimore can come back. Here's Bonner. He's 0 for 1. Has an RBI. He sacked fly in the 4th. Got him his 8th RBI of the year. Pitch to Bonner. Hits up the middle. That's a base hit. Drops in front of Bunnell. And Rayford's on 3rd. So the tying run is Bunbury. And Clancy, 6 innings, 7 hits to 27 batters. His pitch to two batters here in the seventh, 111 pitches. 2 runs, 1 earned. He has walked 2 and struck out 2, and Bunbury is 1 for 3. He has singled and grounded into a double play. Yeah, Robbie, that's a pretty big ashtray. Although, just between you and me and Don't Tell Beatles, I think Pittsburgh's looked the most like an ashtray. And Cincinnati's was pretty sterile, too. And Philadelphia just kind of fit the city. Pitch to Bunbury. Struck him out. 1-2 pitch, and Quincy got him to chase on a bad pitch, and here comes Joey McLaughlin. We got ourselves a pitching change. From Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Toronto 5, Baltimore 2. And so that'll bring up Joey McLaughlin. Joey's 12th relief appearance of the year. He's 0-2 with a save already. And an ERA of 8.26. He will only be there until August 24th. He pitched last Friday night at home against these Orioles, an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, 2 runs. I wonder if that was a home run. Both earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1, and now he's allowed 2 home runs. He has walked 9 and struck out 14. He's good for up to 40 pitches. Tying run is Dower. He's 0 for 3. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. McLaughlin deals, and there's a ground ball to Griffin. Rayford's going to score. Toronto's trying for 2. Garcia for 1 over to Revering, and they got him. They got him, and they turn the double play. The run does not score. No runs for the Orioles here in the 7th. We go to the 8th. Toronto 5, Baltimore 2. So Bunnell, Barfield, and Tony Johnson maybe. McGregor will start the 8th. He's at 105 pitches. Bunnell 2 for 3. 2 singles, has driven in 3. Pitch from McGregor. Fly ball to center. Bunbury. 1 out. Yeah, the college, especially now in Mountain Davis, it didn't used to be that way. I don't know if we'll do a game from Oakland. We might, as Ricky Henderson continues to steal bases. He's at 42, I think, the last time I looked. Maybe if I know that he has a chance to break Brock's record, I might do a game. But the place was nice in the 80s. They had actually hand-operated scoreboards in left center and right center field. It was certainly nicer than Candlestick. It didn't age well, and of course, when the Giants built their new palace, I think it's called Oracle Park this year, it put everything to shame, including the Coliseum. Jesse Barfield's 1 for 3. He's got a double. Here's the pitch. There's a base hit in the left field. Lowenstein gets it up off a hop, and that will do it for McGregor. So Storm Davis is going to come in. We got ourselves another pitching change. 1 out, top of the 8th. 5-2 Toronto. This game is coming to you from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Storm eventually will start 8 games. This is his 4th appearance. He is yet to allow an earned run. He has no record. 5 in the 3rd innings, 2 hits. He last pitched 2 nights ago, so Thursday night against Texas. 2 innings, he struck out 1. All right, thanks for the kind words, Greg. We'll always be here for you. We'll see you soon. So Barfield on first. Davis to face Johnson. Johnson is 1 for 3. Let's see if they pinch hit. They do. And it's Rance Mullinax. Rance at 276. No homers and 9 RBI, and that picture is not from 1982. How do I know? Because the Blue Jay hats were not blue. They had the white in the front. Pitch today from Davis to Mullinax. Got him! He checked the swing on a 1-2, and the umpires are cold and says, that's a strike. So Davis starts with a strikeout. And then I'll bring up Dave Revering, or Babe Ruth, one of the two. He's 1 for 3 with that home run. 5-2, 2 outs, top of the 8th. The Raiders, aged Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the A's have needed their own place for a while, but really through the 80s, it was a nice place. It really was. Pitch to Revering, struck him out. Davis got him to swing and foul tip it into Dempsey's glove, and that'll do it. No runs, one hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is Toronto 5, Baltimore 2, and we'll tell you what the Steiners did here. Everybody's now in the books. Clancy 6 in the 3rd inning, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Pitched to whale of a game, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. McGregor 7 in the 3rd, 11 hits, 5 runs, all earned. He's in line for the loss. The home run to Revering of all people, walking the strikeout. So Dwyer, Singleton, and Lowenstein for the Orioles. I saw the latest design for the A's Park on the waterfront in Oakland, and it looked a lot nicer than the drawings did. This was a computer projection type deal. Dwyer is 0 for 3. He's going to line this one to Alvin Woods in left now. The new left fielder, he's a 5 and a 2, so Tony Johnson's day, of course, was done. Here's Ken Singleton, 1 for 3. He singled, scored a run, and struck out. So the Blue Jays are sitting pretty. Pitch to Singleton. Fly ball, center field. Banella's there. Oh! All right, I will check my email after we're done. Thanks, good buddy Clinton Parks, the Rear Admiral. One of the great friends of this channel, along with Robbie. And all of you who participated in the chat. If you're new to the channel, get in the chat. We're friendly. We don't bite. 43 degrees. Wind's blowing in from 5 on this late Saturday night. John Lowenstein is 1 for 3. Pitch from McLaughlin. Fly ball, left field. Woods. Got it in the corner. How about that? So the Orioles go down in order. We go to the top of the 9th. Toronto 5, Baltimore 2. 5 runs, 11 hits, and an error for Toronto. They have stranded 5. Baltimore 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They have stranded 6. Griffin and Garcia here, and the 9th against Storm Davis. Ernie's 0 for 3. Not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. One basketball game over the weekend. Lakers and Suns. I'm not sure which day I'm doing that. And then remember 4 baseball games next week. So I might actually just take a day off. We'll see. I know. Hopefully we're doing Chat with Al. But Detroit and California Monday night, Tuesday afternoon, 7 o'clock for the Monday game because it's our Memorial Day in this replay. And the day game will be from Wednesday at noon. And the other prime time, excuse me, drag the ice take too fast. The other prime time game, it'll be Chicago and Kansas City from that Wednesday, June 2nd. We've reached June, boys and girls. Pitch to Witt. Fly ball left field, Lowenstein in the corner. Foul. A long, loud strike. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes. San Francisco and Chicago a week from Thursday at noon. Witt, fly ball to right. Ford in the corner. Makes it. I'm hoping for trivia night. Building my own stat boards for Statusbro. Copied off a league board, and then I'm a lot of work. Keep in mind I'm working so I don't end up like Dean Scott. How'd your interview go, Clinton, if you don't mind me asking? We could do a trivia night, I suppose. I think we're doing that with Al when we're doing Chat with Al again. Alfredo is 0 for 3. He had a big first game and cooled off here in the second. 1 out. Struck him out. Davis is with 3. Full count, swung on and missed for strike 3. So 2 out. It'll be Ford, Dempsey, and Rayford. You're not going to bat Ripken because this is the last game that he missed for years. We're playing 2,600 games and change starting on that Sunday, the 30th of May. Damaso Garcia, 3 for 4. He has scored twice. Score was 18th of the year. here in game 2 is not great, not bad. All right. Payroll data entering. You love that stuff. Well, Clinton, we wish you the best of luck, buddy. And hopefully when you do get a new job, you can listen into these games and I can keep Marcel off the bench. Or on the bench. Pitch to Garcia. Ground ball to third. Rayford over to Dwyer. And that, it gets away. And so Garcia reaches again. So a 2-out error. The throw was wide, and Davis just kind of walks around the mound. He thought he was done. Throw to first. Garcia is back. So Garth Orr, 2 for 4. He singled, doubled, scored twice, and struck out. Pitch from Davis. Ground ball to first. Dwyer takes it himself. And that retires aside. No runs, no hits, and 1 error. After 8.5, Honey Bunny says no retirement for you, young man. Toronto 5, Baltimore 2. And so the Orioles are 3 outs away from being swept by the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays, if they win this game, will be 2.5 behind Detroit. Baltimore will have gained, we'll look at the standings in a moment. Ford is 1 for 2. He scored a run, walked. McLaughlin's ready. Ground ball to Griffin. Makes a fantastic play at the edge of the grass in the outfield. Over to Revering for the out. 1 out. So 1 out for Dempsey, who again, he's 1 for 3. He is overdue. He has singled and driven in a run. Pitch from McLaughlin. There's a base hit in the right side, right between Garcia and Griffin. And so the Orioles are making a little bit of noise here in the bottom of the 9th. Here's Floyd Rayford, who will not hit. It won't be Cal. Again, no Eddie Murray. So Eddie is 369. He pinch hit in game 1, 9 homers and 31 RBI. And has a chance here to make this one a little more exciting. Pitch to Murray, ground ball to Orr. His only play is to first, maybe, and he beat it out. I thought they were going to go to second. But the grass here, like it is in most of these American League parks, is long. And so Murray has himself an infield hit, and Bobby Bonner is the tying run at the plate. He's 1 for 2, driven in a run. So the Orioles and the 5,000 or 6,000 who have braved a cold night, it's now 43 here, might see something special here. My voice can't take much more, but you guys are hanging in. Witt goes out to talk to McLaughlin. And here's the pitch. Bonner. Base hit right center field. Dempsey will hold at third. And so here comes the winning run to the plate in Al Bunbury. He is 1 for 4. He has struck out and grounded into a double play. And if you've hung around this long, you're going to quad the candlestick or a Danny Bow. So here's the situation. Dempsey on third. Murray on second. The tying run is Bonner on first. And the winning run is Bunbury. Dower and Dwyer. Dower is on deck and Dwyer is in the hole. So McLaughlin on his cold night is starting to sweat bullets. Here's the Witt goes out to calm him down just to go through the signs again. Here's the pitch. And there's a base hit up the middle. Dempsey will score. Here comes Murray. Bunnell. Throw home is out. They got him. Ho, Witt blocked the plate, and Murray trying to bull him over, and Ernie shows a whole lot of baseball in his hand. And so it's 2 out and 5 to 3. And so they gambled. It was the right gamble. I forget the chance. It was not a stretch to try to score Murray, and Barry Bunnell gets the assist at the plate, a direct throw. And so 2 out, and it for Rich Dower, who was 0 for 4. So Bonner on second, Bunbury Now the tying run is on base, and Gower the winning run at the plate. Joey McLaughlin going through a virtual haunted house to try to get this save. 5-3 Toronto, 2 out, bottom of the ninth. McLaughlin deals, and there's a fly ball to shallow center. Believe it, Toronto, you win the ball game. Pannell makes the catch, and the Blue Jays hang on 5-3. And so McLaughlin goes 2 2/3 innings, 4 hits. Does not walk or strike out anybody for his second save. Storm Davis, an inning and 2/3, no runs, and 3 strikeouts. And so the quick recap, Toronto led 2-0 in the first. They jumped out to a lead in the first inning both games. Velez with a sac fly to make it 1-0. Bunnell singled home Garth Org to make it 2-0. And then the Orioles would tie it. Dempsey would get a run on a grounder on the second to make it 2-1. And Bobby Bonner hit a sac fly to tie it in the fourth. Toronto went ahead 4-2 in the fifth, buried Bunnell with a 2-run single. And then Dave Revering, of all people, with a solo shot in the sixth to make it 5-2. And then the Orioles scored a run on 4 hits in the ninth, and that was it. So if you hung around, it's about 6 hours for this doubleheader. Good for you. The Toronto sweeps. We'll show you the standings as we say thank you and so long. Toronto now is 3 back of the Tigers. They're 28-17. Baltimore falls to 4 back. We'll be with you for Detroit and California as our next scheduled baseball telecast. That's Monday night, because that would be Memorial Day. So Monday night at 7, primetime baseball. Thanks for hanging with us for almost 2 hours. I lost my mouse. There we go. So as you look at Mike Schmidt's stats, I'm Ron Juckett for Retro Sports Network. It has nothing to do with anything there. I just couldn't find where my mouse was. We'll talk to you sometime over the weekend. Until then, take care.